So my family came over in 1978. I was about a year and a half old when we fled, took our 2-year-old dog with us. In fact, there's even a children's book now told about our immigration from the dog's perspective. It's very cute. But growing up, I heard all about what it was like living in the Soviet Union, about how little freedom people had, about how little everything they had, but especially that the things that we take for granted, the right to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, the freedom to think about whatever you want. You didn't have that in Russia, and how much better it is here in the United States because we have those freedoms. I mean, in a lot of ways, freedom drives our prosperity. And so to me, given the opportunity, I've always tried to fight for the things that really matter. So I always liked arguing politics. We did it at home, at the dinner table, at family events. It's just fun. And so because I also like to write, I started a weekly school newspaper. And so we did that for about a year and a half. And then we ultimately got censored by the school. There was an article we wanted to put in. The advisor that we were required to have said, nope, can't publish it. So we did what any normal, reasonable, rational high school kid would do. We stuffed every locker in the school with this article. Huge problems. I realized how easy it is for people who have power to abuse that power to deny people their rights when it's convenient for them, when it serves their needs. And I don't think that's the way the American system should work. Well, I got out of law school in 2009 after a few years in finance before that. And 2009 was the worst time in the history of law to come out of law school. Nobody had a job. And so I started taking my passion for political work that I'd worked on a little in law school and started building a practice around it. And I started writing, especially a few months after graduation, when Citizens United comes out, changes the face of political law. And so I'm writing about this, and then I suddenly get reached out to by these organizations. And they're small groups raising a little bit of money here and there, and they want to get involved and they want to change our society. And they couldn't because they're running up against all these laws that are designed to keep them out of the system. And so I looked at this and I thought, not only is there a business opportunity here as somebody who has a family to feed, but this is a chance to do something really meaningful, to help people who want to make a difference be able to do so, and in a system that is really trying very hard to keep them out. So our clients span the entire political ecosystem. You've got candidates and their campaigns, obviously, but you also have political vendors, the people who do direct mail and emails and ground game, who have to make sure the work they're providing to many candidates is legally compliant. And as it turns out, there's a lot that goes into that to make sure that your contracts are FEC compliant, that the work you're doing is done in a way that gets you through the system without drawing an FEC complaint. And then we work with a lot of political action committees, larger organizations consisting of hundreds and even hundreds of thousands of donors that come together in order to support a political objective. For example, our two biggest clients have probably been what was originally Stop Hillary PAC. We founded that in 2013, and is now called the Committee to Defend the President. Their average FEC report is in the 10,000 page length every single month because they have hundreds of thousands of donors. And we also have Ed Rollins' Great America PAC, which is funded in equal parts by a grassroots army in 2016 and some large donors who helped feed our national television campaigns. A lot of the work that we do is really helping people not get caught in these traps set by the political laws. So over the last several years, I've written about 60 op-eds. They've appeared in dozens of major outlets and minor ones as well, all across the country in every single state, and something like 200 total online and print appearances. And mostly I do this because I want to help educate people about the realities of campaign finance and what's going on sometimes. People don't really understand this area of law because it's complicated, and intentionally so. So I like to spend as much time as I can putting out that information to really help people understand why Donald Trump did not commit a campaign finance violation, or why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did. And it's hard to bring this stuff down to a normal level, but I feel like it really helps move that dialogue forward. So I like to go around and give people the most useful pen in politics, with the federal contribution limits on one side and the top 10 dumb mistakes not to make in campaign finance on the other. But one thing we also do is on the outside, it says you shouldn't have to hire a lawyer to engage in political speech. And that's true, you shouldn't. But the reality is this area of law is incredibly complicated, and it's so easy to make mistakes and get yourself into trouble. We all know it's a lot cheaper to stay out of trouble than it is to get out of trouble. So we like to help people, and hopefully we can help you stay out of trouble in the political law space.